Started. Do I hit the gavel first? This is my first time, so I don't know what I'm doing. Maple Heights Board of Education, Monday, March 17, 2025. Regular Board of Education meeting, 5740 Lawn Avenue, 6 p.m. boardroom. It is 6:03. So our treasurer pro tem will be Miss Rosalind Moore. Do we have we can vote on it, right? Vote.
Al said we didn't have to vote. You
Oh.
just have to appoint.
Okay, got it. So I'll call this meeting to order. And then we can stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Moore, could you do the roll call for me?
Ms. Granger,
Present.
Sabrina Shepherd,
Here.
Ms. Rachel Cheeks. Here. And Rosalind Moore, here.
Okay. And then district updates.
To Vice President Shepherd and to all board members, good evening. I actually am going to turn it over to Taher because they came to visit us, and I forgot they were bringing treats for us today, and I know that you guys were out in the building today, so if you'd like to come up to the mic and introduce yourself and share what you'd like to share with our board.
Absolutely. Hello, board. Good to be
Hi.
here.
How you doing?
So my name's John Sugimura. I'm one of the corporate chefs for Taher. I exclusively, as a corporate chef, I only do the Japanese food. Thus, guess what's tomorrow for lunch?
Japanese food.
So you have exactly what students are eating tomorrow, which is the karage don, the Japanese fried chicken rice bowl
Okay.
with sunomono quick pickles. What makes it super interesting, what you should be really thrilled about, is that Japanese fried chicken has 70% less saturated fat. It's a low allergen meal. The pickles, because we just prepared them a few hours ago, they still count towards the vegetable and everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just all smoke and mirrors. It's a nice 3-ounce portion of Japanese traditional rice, properly seasoned. They're getting 5 ounces of chicken tomorrow, so twice as much as usual. A very delicious spicy sauce that goes on top of it. They get salted cabbage that goes with the rice, and it's a hit every time. Not because it's just fried chicken, but it really is quite delicious. You can find it on any corner anywhere in Japan. I do the Japanese food, and this is one of the meals that I do all over the country. You also have a bitter green salad. You have the dumplings that will be done for the chef table tomorrow. I do those in classes and so forth like that, culinary classes. And then there's a little sponge cake with some fruit for dessert. Super simple, but again, as you probably already know, chef's backbone to our food program is to have a chef-driven, chef-inspired menu. Because quite frankly, tomorrow if we do, the day after tomorrow if we do pizza, or if today we did burgers, it's a lot more interesting food program for the kids when they're getting a little bit of everything. We're never going to be able to omit any of those items, but when you have it cumulatively together, it makes for an interesting food program. And we'll be able to report back. When I do the Japanese fried chicken, no matter what your participation is, I typically exceed 100% participation.
Thank you.
All right? So there you go. Any questions at all?
Oh, how do you spell your last name?
Sugimura. Sugimura. It's like
Okay.
Peterson in Japan. It's
Okay.
that common.
Thank you.
There you go. Real, for real. There you go. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And there really is, for guests, we brought plenty so nobody will be talking about. And some people fully participate.
Thank you.
I welcome.
Thank
There you
you.
go. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The other just announcement I want to make before I have Ms. Love come up to do the follow-up presentation is we do have our March into Preschool and Kindergarten event. So if any of our families are watching tonight and you have incoming Mustangs, we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday from 5:30 to 7:30 at Abraham Lincoln. So at this time, I'm going to have Mrs. Love come up, and she did go on a visit as requested by the board, and she's just going to present back to you her findings, and you do have a presentation in your packet of some information that she has prepared. So, Ms. Love?
Good evening.
Just wanted to come back before you again with, as Superintendent Delafleur stated, my follow-up regarding the effective school solutions and actually seeing it in action. So on March the 11th, I took a trip to Johnstown, Pennsylvania, which is about 3 hours away from here. And their school district is entitled the Greater Johnstown School District. And they are a district of 3,000 students. They have 3 buildings, one K through 4 building, a 5-7 building, which is their middle school, and then an 8-12, which is their high school. They are a district that's not too different from us. They are, like I said, their population is right around 3,000, which is close to us. They are also a district with low socioeconomic status, and they have very high needs. 20% of their students are students with disabilities, which is not far from us. And then they have 55% of their students are classified as African American, 30% white/biracial, and then 15% other. So as I arrived, my first stop on the 11th was at the middle school. I had a chance to meet with 2 assistant principals, the ESS, or Effective School Solutions clinician, the superintendent. She met me there as well, Ms. Dr. Arcurio, make sure I give her credit, Dr. Arcurio, as well as the Effective School Solutions consultant that I've been working with. She met me there as well. And in speaking with the staff, or excuse me, the administration, I asked them why did they want Effective School Solutions in their building. And the primary reasons was because they wanted to reduce their out-of-district placements. They wanted to address the behaviors at the building level and provide more wraparound supports to both the students as well as their families. So Effective School Solutions, their purpose at the middle school is to provide that Tier 3 support. So again, when we speak about multi-tiered system of supports, Tier 3, you're looking at the students that require the most intensive supports. So that is what Effective School Solutions is providing at the middle school. They have 1 clinician that is there, and she has a caseload of 10 students. And Effective School Solutions has been in their building. This is the first school year. The primary role of the clinician there is to provide intensive therapeutic behavioral support to the students on her caseload. She also has one-to-one sessions with those students on a consistent basis, and those sessions don't last more than 45 minutes, so basically a class period. She also conducts weekly group sessions with all of the 10 students that are on her caseload, and she also is the primary point of contact in need of when the students are in crisis. So any of the 10 students on her caseload, when they are having some issues in the classroom, the teachers know that they can reach out to her directly, and she will come to them to help support them as well as the students in the classroom setting. So already this school year, when I asked the assistant principals, like, what have been the outcomes of having Effective School Solutions in their building, they've stated that last year, the 23-24 school year, they had 865 in-school suspensions, which were committed by pretty much 230 students. However, they saw a decrease this year with only 215 in-school suspensions, accounting for 111 students. So they're already noticing a dramatic change in what's happening in terms of behaviors and suspensions. Another area that they are tracking is the number of major infractions. So they define major infractions as situations or referrals that have to rise to the administrative level. So it's not handled by the teachers in the classroom. It's a referral that has to go to an administrator. So from November all the way through February, you can see the decrease. November, they had 26 major infractions a day. December, that was down to 18.71. By January, they were down again, 13.89. And February, they were only at 7.6 major infractions a day. So that encompasses what, I learned at the middle school. So when I left the middle school, They took me over to the elementary. So again, when I asked the principal, Mr. Hoffman, like, why did you want Effective School Solutions in your building? And he said, again, he's trying to also avoid any out-of-district placement, especially since these are kindergarten through fourth graders. He wants to make sure that any supports that they need happens at the building level and within district. He also noted that he feels like it makes more sense to take a preventative and proactive approach to student behavior issues instead of reacting to the situation after it's already occurred. In addition, he wanted to increase the therapeutic supports for the students and their families, and he has now had Effective School Solutions in his building for 2 years. So again, the clinician serves in the same capacity in the elementary as they did in the middle school, serving as that Tier 3 behavioral support, and both buildings have student support teams. So they took a lot of time on the front end to build their multi-tier system of supports to ensure that it was consistent district-wide. So when I spoke with the administrator at the middle school and as well as the principal at the elementary, they spoke exactly the same language when they spoke of the team of people that literally wrapped themselves around the students. They said the student support team, and they named the exact same roles on both of those teams, which I think is key because you don't have two different buildings doing two different things. They also only have one clinician in the building, and their elementary is pretty large, by the way. I should note that. They have just under 1,100 students in this building. So even with that, they still only have one clinician, and she can have up to 12 on her caseload, but at the time of my visit, she only had 9. And she was holding one spot for a student that could possibly be transitioning from an out-of-district placement back to the elementary building. Again, she takes time to set individual goals with these students, and she also noted that once she sets the individual goals with the students, she also contacts the parents and gets their input on what they want for their student as well. So from that, she uses that information to build an individualized plan for each one of her students. She also has one-to-one sessions with them, and she also has the weekly group session for all 9 students on her caseload. So thus far, the outcomes that they've noted is they have been able to see and provide at least 4 to 6 weeks of intensive therapeutic interventions for the students at that Tier 3 level. They've also noticed a reduction in the number of students that they have had to even consider placing out. Johnstown is not a very large town. Their population is down to 17,000. So they're not like a Cleveland where we have various options. They have very limited options, and thus being able to decrease the number of students that they have to even consider placing out has been a huge win for them. They've also noticed a reduction in the number of students identified for special education. And that has been a big win for them because they picked up on some of these students that are being identified as students with disabilities are actually students that just need more intensive interventions and supports. They don't necessarily require specially designed instruction. And they also noticed that they have seen an increase in the amount of parent participation and family engagement. So part of what Effective School Solutions provides is the opportunity for professional development, but also family engagement connection. So they've had 2 family nights for which they had a clinician come in to provide PD in person. Then they did like a Zoom family engagement night where all the parents kind of came into the auditorium. The Effective School Solution employee or presenter rather was on the screen. The students had activities scheduled for them in like the gym while they're in the auditorium. And he noted that a lot of parents gave very positive feedback about having that opportunity. And they talked about the power of play. That was one of the presentations, that parents could understand why play is so important. So this visit was quite insightful for me. I got an opportunity to actually talk to people who are being a part of this work. I got a chance to speak with and meet both of the clinicians to see their classrooms and their settings. You can see in some of the pictures in your presentation what their settings look like. Specifically at the elementary, they have a student support, almost like a annex they took their old wrestling room and repurposed it for it to be the Student Support Center or Annex. So they have all of their wraparound supports and clinicians and therapists in one location. So when a student needs that support, they have everyone right there at the ready. And that's where the elementary clinician was located. So getting back to how do I foresee this working and being useful here at Maple Heights, the two buildings that, again, we were looking to bring this to would be Obama and Milkovich. So right now at Obama, which is a building of 438 students, 1,338 referrals have been reported in DAZZLE this year. And of those referrals, 40 students, or 9%, have 10 or more referrals, which is accounting for 49% of the total referrals that have been submitted. At Milkovich, we have a student population of 617, with a total of 2,254 referrals recorded, with 72 students, 11%, having 10 or more referrals, accounting for 61% of the total. So having effective school solutions would help us address the students that are rising to this Tier 3 level in need of some more behavioral supports and interventions so that we could reduce the number of referrals that are taking place within these two buildings. And looking at the cost comparison, so I wanted to give you guys like an apples to apples comparison of what this would look like if we brought this into the district. So as I stated in my first presentation, there are about 4 primary out-of-district placements where when we have to look at placing a student, it's 4 primary places. Since we're only looking at possibly bringing effective school solutions in for grades 4 through 8, so at Obama Elementary and Milkovich Middle School, I wanted to count the number of students we have in those grades in our out-of-district placements. So right now we have 4 students at PEP, 4 at Educational Alternatives, and 1 student at LEAP. And you can see here how much it's costing us per student per month for 4 students at PEP, for 4 students at Educational Alternatives, and for the 1 student at LEAP, for a district total of $762,699.33 per year. And that's just 1 year for 9 students. If we consider bringing in effective school solutions this school year, if we start in April, since the cost is prorated, it's $54,750. And that includes them providing extended school year services for those students that would be on those clinicians' caseloads so that they will continue to receive mental health support into the summer, because it's important to them to continue to build those relationships and provide that therapeutic support into the summer, especially with potentially starting this late in the school year. And if we bring them back for years 2 and 3, you can see what the cost would be. $305,000 plus the $18,000 for extended school year, each one of those 2 school years. That would still save the district $439,699.33 for a year, each of the next 2 school years. So us taking a preventative, proactive approach instead of reacting to students' behaviors and then having to send them away would actually save this district money, because we could provide those intensive therapeutic supports here in our district and keep our students here where we can monitor how they're doing, how they're progressing, and make determinations that's in their best interest while also providing supports to their families. So Mr. Hoffman gave a quote, because to me he was pretty impressive in his own right. I think when you hear a high school principal decide to go down to elementary, you just kind of look like, now how did that happen? Because usually those aren't 2 grade bands. Usually you're in one lane or the other. But he said it was probably one of the best things that happened to him, because he knew that when you're working with high school students, sometimes starting this type of program at that stage in their academic career can sometimes come a little late. But being with younger students, and he has the K-4 building, he felt like we can make an effective change early on. So his quote is, bringing on effective school solutions clinician to the team of student support services that we offer at the elementary school has been an excellent addition to our school. We have been able to keep our students in our school where they learn best. Their families have been able to build strong relationships with the on-site clinician to make impactful change both in school and at home. I can't think of a better combination where students can receive school-based Tier 3 services, blend with other supportive services if they are needed, stay in their homeroom with their teacher and peers, and build a positive therapeutic relationship with a trusted adult. This investment has made a tremendous difference that goes beyond the data and has made positive change in the lives of our students and their families. And that was pretty evident in every person that I spoke to about this program. And then the superintendent, she had a pretty simple quote when I was speaking to her. She said, when I had to present this, I told the board that I want my teachers to be teachers. So teachers need to be able to be teachers, not mental health therapists. And she said, because teachers go to school and they want to teach English or they want to teach math, science, social studies. She said, that's what I want to give my teachers back, is the opportunity to teach while also providing the supports that we notice our students have. So again, it was a quick trip, but it was quite beneficial. They were very gracious and very kind. They welcomed me back. I don't know if I'll be going back anytime soon because that was an interesting trip. Just actually getting there was pretty interesting. But if you have any questions, I am open to take any questions, but I wanted to be sure to share with you what I saw and learned.
I do. So have you spoke with the teachers here about if these kids will be transitioned back, the 9 kids? Have you spoke with them about that transition if it happens?
I'm glad you brought that up. I have not spoken directly to the teachers. I spoke with my supervisors, my special ed supervisors, about what number of students were looking as if they could possibly transition back. But in going on this trip, one of the things that kind of reordered my thinking is in my conversation with Mr. Hoffman, he stated he believes that it's best to work with the students that you have in district and to address their needs first, because they are the ones that are with you every day. The teachers need that support, the students need that support, and he kind of used, and I'm quoting him, that's your low-hanging fruit. You want to address that need. So that's, to me, was one of the biggest aha moments that I had going there, because he said, that's that preventative approach. That's not that reactive or trying to recoup, if you will. Let's address the needs in the building right now so that we can provide the supports to our staff and our students and families that are currently in the building.
Okay, but eventually you guys will want to transition the kids back in.
Well, some, but we recognize, and I just want to be careful in saying that, is that we know that some students, that is their least restrictive environment. And that would have to be on a strictly case-by-case basis. You know, when you talk about students with IEPs, every plan is individualized and every student is different. So that's not something where we're just looking to just bring them all back. That's not the case. We would look to, especially after this visit, look to, if we do this, do it with the students that we have in district. And in the event that there is one or two that the conversations are starting to be had about, is it time to transition that student back to their home district, then we would have that conversation and the team would make that decision. The IEP team would make that decision.
Okay, so how would concerns be addressed if the students are not doing well in the district? If that come about, then how would that be addressed then?
Talking about the students that are in district or the ones that are out?
If we can talk about both of them, it's fine.
Okay.
I mean, because I know, I just heard what you're saying, we want to focus on the ones here. But eventually, you may want to bring one or two back over here, or, so if it becomes a problem that they're not interacting into the district like they're supposed to, what would you do about that then?
Absolutely. That's again, that's an IEP team. We pull that IEP team back together, we can reconvene, and we discuss what is happening since that student has returned to the district, and the team makes a determination on where do they believe that child's least restrictive environment is. What kind of supports, services, accommodations does that student need to be successful? So again, if that started to be an issue, we have an IEP team meeting to discuss it, because the team makes that determination.
How does the parent play in the team
making that decision?
Oh, parent is a part of every
Yes.
IEP team.
I mean, I know the parent is a part,
Yeah.
but what weight does the parent have in determining the final decision if that parent does not want that child to stay here in the district and would prefer that that child goes back to that facility where they are? I mean, how much weight are you going to give that parent to be able to make those decisions for their child versus cutting costs?
Gotcha. The parent definitely, their voice is paramount, plus in the state of Ohio, parents have to give consent for a child's placement to be changed.
Okay.
Therefore, that child, whether the parent wanted it or didn't want it, let's say they didn't want their child returned, they could tell us yay or nay in terms of consent. We don't get to just unilaterally change a child's placement without a parental consent. So the parent's voice would definitely be heard, and we would, again, make informed decisions in the best interest of the child, but we would not ignore a parent's voice, especially when we're talking about placement decisions.
Okay, so since these 9 kids, or between the 15 kids that we were discussing before, are not the main focus right now to bring back in the district, so this cost savings comparison here is not going to be effective that we can look at, because now we're just talking about paying for a program, so our kids that we already have here actually be able to participate in as far as mental issues. So
Correct. So I think by adding this program, if you think about this as a continuum of services, of things that we can offer, right now, we have a gap. So if a kid reaches a certain level of need, we have to go outplace. That's our only option. So we're saying by adding an additional piece, this will give us another option to provide for those students that it is appropriate for, versus having to jump right to the outplacement.
yeah, that's fine. I was just looking at
She's
this.
saying because the numbers show that. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm
we're
just
losing
looking,
the
I'm just
numbers
looking
that
at
ain't
what
coming
this
back.
slide says, so we're not
Oh.
really talking about
Okay.
savings right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about bringing in programs to be able to assist our kids with the mental health and be able to take some of the pressure off of our teachers.
Right.
That's what we're focusing on right now. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that that was the understanding that we are going with. And also, I just wanted to make sure that the teachers, when you talk about bringing these kids back in, I just want to make sure that the teachers are heavily involved, because I do not want to be able to put kids into the teaching class
Right.
that's not socially are going to be able
Correct.
to be proactive for that student, and is not going to be a positive for the current student environment in there right now with the teachers and the students that are already there, because we've had this situation before where we had to take kids out of the district because they weren't being productively academically successful or socially successful, and it was becoming a harm to our students. So we had to remove kids out of the district being reviewed by ODE. So I just don't want that to happen again where our kids suffer,
Right.
because we're trying to save a dime.
Right.
Because it's not about saving a dime, it's about being able to make sure that we offer the best for our students that
Absolutely.
are in these placements right now.
Right.
So if the teachers are not 100% sure, and your academic special ed team is not 100% sure that this is going to be socially and academically for those students that we're trying to bring back in, I mean, I right now, I just don't feel that it is worth risking that right now to take those kids and be able to plop them back into the school district that,
Right.
we currently have, and this team hasn't been here yet for
Correct.
for our existing kids that we do have right now.
So how much would you be involved with it? Like, in the transition with the,
I'm sorry, go ahead and finish your question. Yeah.
with the education of the kids and everything? How much would you be involved with this?
Well, I chuckled because I've been quite involved. She, the consultant, and I, we've been texting and talking even today. And so I'm in this thing all the way through. From this moment to, if you guys choose to move forward with this, to our site visits, to introducing our admin, to the clinicians and the teachers. I mean, I'm in this process. So and I feel like it's incumbent upon me to be a part of this process because this is a part of student supports, and we're trying to make sure that our students get what they need. So this is not something where, you know, we started and then I just hand it off. No, that's not even how I work, you know, honestly. But I am in this process doing as much as they let me do. Now, some of these things, I'm sure they'll kick me out the room and say, you're not allowed to be in here for this. It's therapy, right? But I plan to be intimately involved in this entire process as we move forward.
Okay.
Any other questions? That's it? Okay. All righty. Thank you for your time.
One more
Oh,
question.
I'm sorry. Okay.
As far as your evaluation of how you're going to monitor the program, how often are you going to report or keep track of how the program is progressing?
Report to,
To us, report to the superintendent, report back to your team?
I report as much as she tell me I need to report. I mean, I'm
Okay.
ready to provide the information, you know, as much as I need to, and per, you know, the superintendent's directive, to ensure that everyone stays knowledgeable and in the
Okay.
know of this process, because I recognize this is something new, something different for the district, and so I plan to keep everyone involved and knowledgeable. And I also will lean on the advice of the consultant, because she's been walking me through this process literally hand in hand. So I'm sure she can, if I ask her, she can give me some insight on, you know, best practices on how to keep all parties informed of how things are progressing and what's happening.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, thank you.
thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for making that visit for
Oh,
us.
you're
Yeah.
welcome.
If the writers and stuff go down, that sure.
Did we have any other district reports, Superintendent Delafleur? So now moving on to the treasurer's report, just the approval of the board minutes. So can we get a vote for the approval of board minutes?
I can't really hear you.
Approval of the board minutes.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Any questions, discussions? Okay. Ms. Moore?
Just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes. Okay. And then we have our financial report provided for us by the treasurer, so you can look through it as well. And then do we have a approval for the financial report?
So moved.
Ms. Cheeks. She did the motion, I need a second. We need a second.
Second. I can't
Sorry. I speak up. I say it with my chest. Any discussions or questions for the financial report? Okay.
Ms. Granger,
I'll just wait.
yes or no? I
Oh,
didn't-
yes.
Ms. Cheeks?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
And myself, Ms. Warren, yes.
Okay. And then do we have any additions or deletions from the agenda? Seeing none, can we get a approval of the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Questions or discussions? Okay. Can we get a vote?
Yes, just 1 second.
Yep.
My Remember, I have to write all the names.
I know.
down 'cause it's not on
I'm
here.
giving you time. I'm sorry.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks.
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
and myself, yes.
Okay. So new business is for the Effective School Solutions. The superintendent recommends the approval of the agreement with Effective School Solutions to provide services as outlined in the agreement, including but not limited to therapy, mental health services, professional development, and extended school year services for the period beginning April 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027 for the amount of $692,000 and $77.50. This is her presentation that she did, yes.
Can we talk about this? one
Yeah,
later? Okay, I mean, at a later time.
Oh, you want to
Yeah.
hold the vote for,
Yes.
okay. So with that, do I just,
So you're gonna table.
okay. So we're going to table this vote for another time for the Effective School Solutions.
Okay.
The next one is for the Solar for Schools Master Sub Grant Agreement Amendment. The superintendent recommends
You guys
the,
need, I think you guys need to vote on table.
Oh, we gotta vote for
Okay,
tabling?
you gotta
Okay.
table it, yeah.
got it.
So you make it, somebody need to make a
Yep.
motion to table?
Yeah, so can I have a motion to table the Effective School Solutions contract?
So moved.
How long we tabling it
I'm sorry,
for? How long are we tabling it for?
I guess.
For the
for-
next
is it
meeting?
For the next with Blackwell, I don't know, sure where.
Yeah, we can. I mean, yeah, but I still want to talk about it.
Right.
So we
Okay.
just go agreeing with it.
Okay. You said, so second.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd.
Yes.
And myself? Yes. Okay.
Okay, so now for the Solar for Schools Master Sub Grant Agreement Amendment. The superintendent recommends the approval of an amendment to the Master Sub Grant Agreement by and between Cuyahoga County and the Maple Heights City Schools pertaining to the Solar for Schools project for an award grant amount not to exceed $1,331,982. Is there any more information that we need, or?
I can just update you. This is originally, this contract was originally signed on July of 2024. This was a grant that we are part of with several other school districts in Cuyahoga County. And due to the recent changes with federal grants, they have revised the contract to just say that moving forward, it is contingent upon available funds.
Right. Okay. Can we have a vote for this agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussions? Okay. Ms. Moore?
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks.
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
myself, Ms. Moore, yes.
Okay. And then the next resolution is the amendment to Resolution 2515, City of Maple Heights Fuel Supply Agreement. The superintendent recommends the approval of an amendment to change the 6 cents to 8 cents in Resolution 2515 of City of Maple Heights Fuel Supply Agreement, originally approved on February 3rd, 2025, as amended and restated between Maple Heights City Schools and the City of Maple Heights, a copy of which is attached and incorporated herein, directs the board, vice president, superintendent, and treasurer to execute the same, as well as the accompanying certification on behalf of the board. So this is just a change of the pricing of the fuel.
So moved.
Did you say something?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Yeah, second.
Okay, any questions or discussions?
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks.
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
and myself as well. Yes. Motion approved.
Okay. And then a resolution number 2518, employment contract for Treasurer Chief Fiscal Officer Connie Baldwin. So this is a motion to approve resolution number 2518, employment contract of the Treasurer Chief Fiscal Officer Connie Baldwin. Can I have a vote?
So moved.
I have a question. Is this with the change and the correction on that contract with the, for her to be able?
Yes, the one change
Yes,
that
the
was
one change.
requested,
Yes,
so we put that in there, for the three
for the 3
years.
years. Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
The same
before-
language that was
That was before.
in Taylor's.
Okay, all right, thanks, before we vote on this.
Okay. And then can we get a vote? Because I know Ms. Granger, Ms. Sheets just motioned for it.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
and myself, Ms. Moore, yes.
Okay. The next one is resolution number 2520, Power for Schools. The superintendent recommends adoption of resolution number 2520, resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of master electric energy sales agreement between the district and the Power for Schools endorsed electric supplier, Energy Resources LLC. Any questions, comments?
So moved.
Second.
Vote.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks.
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Motion carries.
Okay. So the next resolution is resolution number 2521, resolution declaring transportation by school convenience impractical for certain identified students and offering to provide payment in lieu of transportation. The treasurer recommends the board to adopt resolution number 2521, resolution declaring transportation by school convenience impractical for certain identified students and offering to provide payment in lieu of transportation. Yeah, can we get a little more about this, if you know any?
So basically, we are required to provide transportation for those students that attend non-public and charter schools. So we have an option as a district to say if it's impractical. So there are rules that the state provides to us. I think one of them is if it's over 30 minutes that it takes us to pick up a kid, or those are the things. So we can deem that transporting certain students are impractical, and then the district has to pay them a fee, which is determined by the state. That if we say it's impractical, then we basically have to pay a stipend to the parent, and that's to cover their transportation cost.
Okay, got it.
Is it a one-time payment at the end of the year, or you pay, is it paid quarterly? How do they pay it?
Do you know how they pay it here? Yeah, I'm not sure. Each district, I would have to find out. I don't know how Maple does it. We used to pay at the end of the year in my previous district, so we made sure that the student attended the school.
Okay.
But I would have to check to see how Maple does it, but we can find that out and get it back to you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Can I get a motion?
Because I don't understand this one either. Can we
Oh,
put this
I'll
in?
explain it to you. You don't need to take, I don't know.
Okay.
There's no reason for us to table this.
Okay.
This happens every single year, every school year. So these are the students that go to, that use
Different.
vouchers or go outside of the school district. And when we can't provide the bus service to pick the kids up, to take them to St. Ignatius, take them to St. Ed's, take them to Avon, wherever the parent decides that they want to send their child to, then at the end of the year, mostly it's the end of the year, They give us, they sign a form and show that they transported their
And
child.
some of the time, the parents don't even fill it out.
Yeah, they transported their child, so we have to pay them based on the rate that the Department of Education decides. We have to pay them a certain amount. It could be $214 for the entire year, or it could be $150, or it could be $315. And this is our obligation because we couldn't pick that student up as a school district and drive that student to that school because of the distance or wherever the school is. Then we have to pay for it. This is something that we are obligated to pay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, just need a motion for this vote.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
myself, yes. Motion carries.
Okay. Any amendments to the consent agenda? Okay. And then any consent calendar approval? So, okay, this is for the hires. So for this, the superintendent approval of all consent agenda items, employment is specifically conditioned on subject to successful background checks, receipt and final administrative review of all application records, and receipt of all necessary documentation. So that is for B through
H.
H. Thank you.
I have two questions. I have, is it Mika Cohill?
Mm-hmm.
Is she a teacher?
Is she a teacher?
Yeah, she's
No.
a teacher, just a regular.
Supervisor.
Supervisor,
of the-
okay.
Yeah,
And that is
to help
just,
us get up and running.
I'm sorry.
To help us get up and running.
Okay, all right, okay, so you're not gonna be actually tutoring, this is just the maintenance, the
Yeah.
monitoring the day-to-day operations inside of that,
Mhm.
inside of the facility. Okay, that's why I just wanted to make sure it was just,
She's also, I believe, an assistant basketball coach. She was one of our assistant coaches.
okay, all right. And then one other thing is, did you guys take it off? I think you guys took it off, because I don't see his name on here.
Was it Asim?
Yes.
Yeah, he decided not to take the job, so we took his name off.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. I just had questions about it, but that's
Yeah.
okay. He's not on here, so that was my second question.
Okay. So can I have a motion?
Just 1 second.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Motion carries.
Okay. And then now we have the public participation for the board meetings. So anyone wants to say anything?
That's it? No?
Okay. All right. Seeing none, we will be moving into executive session motion. Oh, executive session.
Do we need it?
I don't need one.
Oh, I don't have anything. I don't have anything to go into executive for.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we're not going to executive session. Yep. And I believe that is it then, if we don't have anything else. So I call this meeting at, no, I don't.
You asked for a motion. to
Oh,
adjourn.
can I motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
What time?
6:52.
Okay, Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Motion carries.
All right. Well, I call the meeting at 6:52. Thank you all for attending. Happy Monday.